Today I wanted to make dumplings. I love dumplings, especially pan fried. Nothing better. And it's fun to make at home. Since you can't just make like 5 dumplings, it's a whole process. It's a fun thing for you to grab your friends, get in the kitchen, have like a folding party. If you want to get your kids in the kitchen, everyone loves a dumpling. I'm not exactly making the dumplings today. This is the day before. I'm going to make my filling so it can just chill in the fridge overnight. You don't have to do that. It can be a couple of hours ahead of time or even just before. I'm just extra. The one weird thing about making dumplings, I'm gonna be making the wrappers as well tomorrow. It's hard to tell how much filling to how much dough you make. So what I usually do, I start with a pound of pork. I'm making pork dumplings. And I start with a cup of flour when it comes to making the dough later. These ones are really simple. I'm using pork. Of course, you can use chicken, beef. You can make them all veggie. They're super simple, so delicious. Let's just get started. Here's my pork. I'm just gonna fluff it around a little bit. I'm gonna put my green onions that I have just finely chopped. And I've got some chopped garlic and ginger down here also going in. I'm gonna put all the measurements down below in the description if you want to check it out, but these are definitely not really a recipe kind of thing. Just add, subtract, whatever you like. This is where it's at for me. I'm gonna add some kosher salt, a little bit of black pepper, and my leeks. I'm just gonna add until I think it looks good. We'll start there. What I did with this leek is split it down the middle, chopped it up super fine. Then I soaked it in some cold water because leeks are dirty, dirty vegetables. They've got sand and dirt all in them, so you really want to make sure you wash them well. Dried it off, added it to the pork. I'm gonna add a touch of Worcestershire sauce, a little drizzle of soy sauce, some sesame oil, a little bit of mirin, and a pinch of sugar. Get this all mixed up. Here is my beautiful mixture. I ended up adding some more leeks because you can never have enough. I'm gonna transfer this into an airtight container and off it goes for the night, for the deep sleep. You don't wanna make this too much ahead of time. I would say the day before is like the most time you want. Funny seeing you here. In it goes for the night. See you tomorrow. It is now the next day. Time to make my dough. My filling is still chilling in the fridge. I know I said yesterday that I usually work with a ratio of a pound of the meat to 1 cup of all-purpose flour, but I think I'll do 2 cups. So now I have 2 cups of all-purpose flour here, and I just put in some warm water. This dough is difficult to explain. It's more of like a feeling. I put probably about 2/3 cup of water. You really just want the dough to come together. If it's too dry, add a little bit more water. If it's too wet, add a little bit more flour until you get where you're going. This is exactly awesome. This dough is perfect. It's not sticking to me, but it's not crumbling, so you know that the hydration is there. I'm just gonna knead it for a little bit in this bowl just to kind of bring it together. The amount that you want to put for water in here also might vary depending on where you are. If it's cold, hot, humid. The dough isn't going to be smooth, but your main goal with it is that you don't want it to stick to your hands. See how my hands are pretty much unscathed? Work the dough for 2-3 minutes. You don't want to get crazy with it. It's been a couple minutes. We're good to go. It's not going to be completely smooth, like I said, but it's not sticking and it's been worked. So I'm just going to plop it back in, cover it, and let it rest for 20 minutes, half an hour. While my dough is resting, I'm just going to prepare everything else for when it comes time to make the dumplings. I am going to be freezing most of these, so I have a pan here with some parchment paper that I'm just going to prepare the dumplings, line them into parchment paper, stick them in the freezer to flash freeze, and then I can batch them into a bag. Keep them in the freezer. Whenever I want one, pull it out, throw in the pan. But for now, you bet your bottom dollar that I'm going to be frying up a few of these babies fresh. So I have my little frying pan here. I just put some vegetable oil in the bottom there. Make sure your pan has either a lid or some way to kind of keep the goods in. I'm gonna be pan frying and then steaming so I get those nice crispy bottoms. The time has come. It's been resting for 20-ish minutes. It's nice and soft. It's definitely changed texture, even though it's not like smooth, but it's soft, if you know what I mean. And kind of just give it a couple extra working. Oh gosh, this dough is so soft. Does anyone else just like love the way that dough feels? We're just gonna work this into a tight ball here and just kind of poke your finger through the middle. And we're gonna make a ring. And we're just gonna stretch until we get a pretty large ring that kind of measures around like an inch, inch and a half or so. I want a little more ham on some sections than others, but it's all good. This is just an approximate, okay? I'll split this, and when splitting our dough into our pieces, we want them medium-sized dumplings, probably about a tablespoon or so of dough. Let's see what it is. I'm gonna go for 14 grams each, and I'm gonna see how that looks. It's a pretty little ball. It's like maybe a little smaller, if not the same size as like a ping pong ball. If you're gonna be making these right away, I would suggest probably doing a few at a time and then covering the dough because it can dry out and we don't want that. I'm gonna take each ball and kind of make it as smooth as I can. So I'm gonna fold it in on itself so that I don't see any seams on the outside here. Little ball. When your dough smiles back, got all of my little baby balls of dough that I'm just gonna roll lightly in some flour. Now for the fun part, also known as the most stressful part for me, flattening and filling and crimping. So I'm gonna take my little ball, flatten it with my palm. I'm gonna take my small roller here and just kind of like go most of the way and then just start to turn. If you start to stick like this, just kind of fluff it in a little more flour. Once you've gone around once, we're gonna start to work with more of the edges. So you're only gonna go up like halfway and then just kind of continue only halfway. We want the edges a little thinner. It makes it a lot easier to fold when you have thinner edges. And I'm ready to fill. And I'm gonna take a little of my filling. I'd say these ones you can fill a little bit more since the dough is really forgiving. You can probably put about a tablespoon of filling. So I have it right in the middle there, and folding, it's not my best friend. I'm gonna try a few different ways, see how it goes. That doesn't look too horrible. Let's try another one. I'm gonna put these flat side down. See, I got a couple folds there. I think I'm gonna do some more on the top there, see if I can get it. But your main objective is not to make it look pretty, I guess, but make sure they're just closed. So I'm gonna just kind of put this down in my little pot here and keep on going. Okay, I think I figured out how to at least make them look a little pretty. So I'm just gonna fill it up. I'm gonna fold it in half and pinch right at the very top there. Take the closest part to me and fold it in on itself and do that all the way down. You can usually make about 3 plates. Pinch in the same way, closest to me, fold it in on itself, pinch, in on itself again, pinch, in on itself again, and pinch all the way down. It's definitely not the prettiest, but at least you get some really cute looking pleats out of it. And it's got its little flat bottom. Flat bottom wontons make the world go round, don't you know? All right, I am ready. I've got some lookers here, some not so cute ones here, but we know it's the personality that matters. I am gonna now throw this on the stove on a medium heat until I hear them start to sizzle. Once I've got them to the color I want them on the bottom, I'm just going to then carefully pour some water in here, lower the heat to like a medium low, and then I'm just gonna throw the cover on real quick. I want all that steam to be kind of gathered, and that's really what's gonna cook that pork, and I'll steam them for 8 to 10 minutes or so. Figures, once I put those ones in the pan, I make an almost just like such a beautiful one. Look at the little pleats. Ugh. You'll be enjoyed later. I'm pulling these off the stove just for a second. I want you to look at these bottoms. So crispy. Now I'm gonna just throw the water in them and steam them for the rest of the time. Are we ready to look at these babies? Oh my gosh. They smell unbelievable. The skins are so tender, you can just tell. Oh my gosh. They've puffed up. Oh, get the bottom of one of these. Look at that. Perfect. Ooh, it looks burnt on camera, but I swear it's not. Let me try to get a better picture. Oh, be still my heart. And of course you have to have a dipping sauce. Real quick, my favorite dipping sauce, some balsamic vinegar, a little bit of soy sauce. I know balsamic vinegar, you're probably like, huh? But it just works, believe me. And a little bit of sesame oil. Time, move over just a little bit. Time to dig in. I'm not gonna break out the chopsticks because I don't feel like embarrassing myself today, but got my sauce, got my little dumpling, give it a swirl. Uh-huh. Gosh darn it. Well, these are really juicy, as you can see, as I've just now poured everywhere. The filling is perfectly cooked. It's juicy, it's tender. The wonton skins are out of control, so soft. You will just be like amazed that you made this yourself. Just keep an eye on the water in the pan. I ended up adding quite a bit, but I just want to make sure that they were done, and I just want to make sure that there was not a dry spot. You should definitely try these. Look at that bottom. I mean, come on. Enjoy.